Hi, it's time for our weekly Q&A. Even though we're doing the Rainbow Challenge, I thought I would still do our weekly Q&A today. I didn't see any questions though, which is great. I love seeing your pictures. I hope some more of you will share. I know that it's still early on the West Coast. So I'm looking forward to seeing your pictures. I love them. I love those of you who have been sharing. You're really inspiring. Like a weird thing going on. Fabiana, sharing your peanut butter on your smoothie bowl, or it was fruit bowl this morning. I meant to put some sun butter on mine, just for something about just drizzling a nut butter on top of your smoothie bowl or fruit. It makes it just, my mouth is watering thinking about it. So thank you so much for sharing that. And Debbie, your pictures have been so beautiful. Yes. And so I'm super excited. So maybe some questions will pop up. This week I wanted to talk about thyroid and adrenal health. That's what I'm studying in my NEPT program right now. Most of you know I am in nutritional endocrinology practitioner training program. Love it, love it, love it. And I love what I've been learning. So I've been learning about the thyroid and the adrenals, and so much information that I wish if I had only known, right? So most of you know I received a diagnosis of an autoimmune thyroid condition way back in 2007. And I argued with my doctors until 2013, where I was conned into a procedure that I now regret. However, it has taught me so much, and this reason why I do what I do today. I've always had a passion for health and wellness. This is something I've always wanted to do, and that just kind of pushed me. The first thing I said was, I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So there's a reason for everything, right? But the more I learn about the adrenals, if I had just known I needed to take care of adrenals, that would have helped me so much before. So if you're just joining, I'm talking about adrenals and thyroid health today. But if you have any questions about anything else, even the Rainbow Challenge, I am here for you. So the adrenals, if you don't know, the adrenals, they help regulate cortisol, DHEA, and they keep you safe. Their job is to keep you safe. So if they think that you are in danger, they are going to send out cortisol so that you can run, you can fight, you can do whatever you need to do to stay safe. And what we've found, or not we scientists have found, I am a scientist, but I'm not one of those researchers, is that in autoimmune thyroid conditions, probably, well, every autoimmune condition, your body is fighting something, right? Your body thinks there's a danger, something is wrong. And so that is the adrenals in action. So to recover from an autoimmune condition, we really have to look at the adrenals. And so some of the things that are so important in balancing out the thyroid and the adrenals, the pituitary, the hypothalamus, these are brain functions that help to regulate everything. Some of the things that we need to look at are the nutrients. And so we're eating the rainbow foods this week because every color provides a different chemical to help you get the nutrients that you need. So it's so important to eat these phytonutrients. You can see it, food is medicine. So you might have a rainbow of foods here. They're that important. You need all the different colors to get the nutrients. Something else to balance all of this is your foods. We want to remove inflammatory foods. Anytime that we eat foods that are not right for our body, that create inflammation, your body's got to go into repair. That's adding stress to your body. So we want to look at things like heated oils. That one's so hard for people to give up, but it's doable. I did it in stages, but so now I don't cook in oil at all. And people are like, wait, how do you saute onions? How do you do these different things? What about roasted vegetables? I don't use any oil. When I saute with a little water, and I just keep adding a little water so it doesn't stick. Works beautiful. You can even brown onions in some water. When I roast vegetables, I put parchment paper on my baking sheet. I don't need any oil at all. It comes right off the pan. It'll even get some of that brown color, which isn't really great for you, but is better than frying it in oil that goes rancid and it becomes very inflammatory. Dairy is very inflammatory, and especially low-fat dairy and fat-free dairy. They change the way they create it. Removing some of the fat makes it even more inflammatory. And so whenever I work with clients, I actually learned from Dr. Schultz several years ago, if somebody can't give up anything, if you can just get them to give up one thing, then dairy is what needs to go. Second to that would be pork, especially bacon. I have clients who the only animal product they eat is bacon, and it's so hard to give it up. I know this, it smells delicious, it tastes so good, but it is so bad for you in fried foods. So all of those create inflammation in the body. And if you have an autoimmune condition, you've received that diagnosis, we don't want to claim it, then one of the things we want to do is remove all inflammatory foods or anything else that can create a stress in your body. So that is stress. So work stress, traffic stress, arguing with a family member or a friend, holding on to grudges, just listening to arguments, watching something violent on TV, all of those things can create stress in our body. And our adrenals are made to keep us safe. And they don't know that you're not in danger. They don't know that you're just watching a horror movie or something like that. They think that you're in danger. They don't know because your blood pressure goes up and everything else watching it, right? Sometimes you jump and things like that. That is triggering an adrenal response. We don't want that. So if you need to recover from autoimmune, get those numbers down, you have to work on that and watch, more peaceful things, funny things. You want to laugh. And Jennifer Swank has laughter yoga. It's free Monday through Friday. Look into something like that. They are fabulous for you. And then looking at your environment, we want to remove any toxins in the environment. Looking at your skincare. I did recommend everyone get the Anne Marie. That is my favorite skincare product because you can eat all of it. And this time they said they had a sunscreen, and I called it tiny, and I was like, oh, I shouldn't call it tiny. I didn't get mine yet. It is really tiny, but I'm really excited about being able to try a sunscreen that I feel really safe, no preservatives and whatever. Off topic, but it's not off topic because it's toxin free. We want to be able to use products on our body, skins and organ, in our body that are free of toxins. So looking at your cleaning products, not just your skincare, in your environment, even what chemicals are in your clothing and stuff like that, in your mattresses, using air filters. Those things are also going to be helpful for helping with the adrenals and the thyroid. Getting your digestion in check, eating the rainbow boosts fiber. So not just the nutrients that we need, but it also boosts fiber. And for probably all of us that have received a diagnosis of any chronic disease, especially autoimmune conditions, you have leaky gut. We have to repair the whole intestinal lining, and removing inflammatory foods and things like that help with that too. But working on gut healing and getting adequate sleep, plenty of sleep. You want to make sure you're getting at least 7 hours of sleep at night. That's difficult for some of us, going to bed on time and getting good quality sleep. So some other things that can create conditions, digestive stress, eating the harmful foods, inflammation, any kind of trauma, even just, running into a table or something, that's going to create a little bit of inflammation. We don't realize when we eat harmful foods that creates inflammation. Just being overweight puts extra stress on the body. Injuries, toxins, and sleep. I talked about all that, and infections. So a lot of people, they get blood tests and they can see, I talked about that in my blood webinar a year ago. I don't know if it's still available. I'm not sure where it is. Anyway, if some of those blood markers are off and there's an underlying infection or something in there, those are usually key to a lot of autoimmune conditions, even especially like EBV or Lyme disease that's underlying. So all those can create stress, and the adrenals are working overtime, and then that's off balance. We need to correct it. So what do? We need to heal and optimize digestion, eating these bright, colorful foods, reducing the inflammatory foods. And the second thing is balancing blood sugar. And so even before we look at other things, we want to balance blood sugar. Blood sugar is key for all autoimmune conditions. We need to make sure, because what happens when you have too much sugar in the bloodstream, we have too much insulin, then it just causes too much stress on the body, and stress on the body leads to more cortisol, which leads to more blood sugar in the blood, which you can see it just starts cycling. And so the key to really balancing all of it is managing blood sugar. And so how do we do that? Eating less starchy carbs is one, less inflammatory foods. But the key, like for me, when I was regulating my blood sugar, wanted to see where it was, the key for me was stress. I am I don't know what I call myself, I shouldn't call myself anything. Don't want to claim it, but I am quite frequently under stress, and I kind of feed on that adrenaline. I let myself feed on that adrenaline, and that is not good for my body. And so we have to do things like meditate. I like to do legs up the wall, relaxation techniques, any of those things. Those are key for blood sugar balancing, and we don't think about that. But when you are under any kind of stress, even if it's that kind of stress, like, oh, I've got all this stuff I need to do, and I want to do it, and I get all excited, but I need to still calm down. So even that really good stress, I need to calm down and let everything balance out and calm to so not only just eating healthy, staying hydrated. If I don't have enough water in my body, it needs the water. It puts stress on the body. So I need to stay hydrated. I need to take time out throughout the day. I need to get good quality sleep. I need to eat nutrient dense foods. I need to watch for toxins in the environment. Now, if your numbers are great, then maybe you can relax a little bit. Your body can handle it. But if you have any kind of condition, then these are things that we need to look at. And you don't have to be like strict. There's some leeway unless you really are in a crisis mode. Then yes, we do need to go, cold turkey and break everything away, focusing on healing, sleeping, hydrating, and balancing the blood sugars. So I'll talk about a little bit more, a few more minutes. So I talked about drinking water. We want to make sure the water is clean. So especially if you have a thyroid condition, if we drink tap water or city water, there's fluoride in there, and fluoride is very controversial. I've been working on a project for school, and in the research, it's very difficult to find studies on fluoride. It's amazing. I'll Google something and I can get all the different chemicals, but when I Google fluoride, it's very limited what I get, which is weird because it's everywhere. Anyway, fluoride the chemical will get into some of those same cell receptors that we need for iodine. It's like the key will fit in, but it won't turn the key, but it blocks it and keeps you from getting iodine. And you need iodine in all of your cells. It's for your thyroid hormone. You cannot create thyroid hormone. That's what T3 and T4. For those of you who have thyroid conditions, that's how many iodines you have. We have to have iodine for those, and fluoride will block it and keep you from getting that. So will bromide or bromine, which is in breads. There was several years ago, Subway. Somebody wrote about the chemicals in the Subway bread. Well, it's in store-bought breads too. So anytime you see bromine, bromide, you don't want those because that's going to keep you from getting iodine. Grow your own vegetables when you can, buy organic when you can. We want to make sure we're watching for fertilizers and chemicals in the foods. Minimize things that affect the thyroid. The thyroid affects everybody, whether or not you have an autoimmune condition involving the thyroid. Your thyroid affects all of your different cells in your body. So everyone needs to avoid pesticides, colorings, flavorings, environmental toxins, all of those things. We need to focus on relaxation and doing gentle exercises, not over exercising. If you have an autoimmune condition, training for a marathon, this is not right for you at this time. We need to focus on more calming exercising, yoga, stretching, walking in nature, taking nice gentle walks. You can do frequent walks, but it's not the time to train. It's hard for some of us, especially like me. It's like, I remember I was doing a CrossFit at one time and I loved it. And I was doing all these mud runs and all this. And then I hit a wall and I wanted to keep doing it. I was like, oh, I need to keep working out. And that was definitely not right for me. So for most autoimmune conditions, you need to eliminate dairy and gluten. And if you come work with me as a client, that's going to be number one. You have to let those go. Lots of green leafy vegetables, sea vegetables. They're not as common here, especially here in the South. So I like to buy things like Doles from Maine Coast Foods. You can get it on Amazon even, or order direct from Maine Coast Foods. That's what I do. And they have shakers that have like dulse or kelp or whatever, and you can just sprinkle some on your meals and you don't even taste it. You're just getting some in there. That can be a way to give you some iodine and lots of minerals. There's lots of minerals in sea vegetables. Garlic and onions. Garlic and onions are so good for you. Now, if you struggle with eating garlic and onions, then there are ways around that tells us that there's a pathway that's blocked in your liver. And so there's some things that we need to do to get around that. Because the sulfur that is in those foods, some people say I can't eat any foods that have sulfur in them. That's the key. Hello, we need to look at your liver. Other things to help with the hypothalamus, pituitary, thyroid, adrenals are low glycemic fruits. So if you are focusing on something like an autoimmune condition, you want to make sure you're avoiding things like tropical fruits. Those tropical fruits are going to be spiking your bloodstream. So even though we're doing the rainbow challenge right now, that's where a lot of our colorful foods are. We need to try to watch for some that don't spike blood sugar as high. So like for fruits, cherries, for some people, it's different for each person, but cherries, blueberries, raspberries, they still give you some of those vibrant colors. Blackberries, I've been using blackberries for my purple every day. Those are better. Coconut can be really wonderful for someone who's struggling with some inflammation, and all of the omega-3 rich foods, walnuts, hemp seeds, flax seeds, chia seeds. I talked about sea vegetables. For those of you who do eat animal products, deep ocean fish, but you want to be very careful about where you get that because it's very easily contaminated. And then the algae like chlorella, spirulina, those are also great for inflammation. And then probiotic rich foods. Sauerkraut, kimchi, yogurt. Store-bought yogurt does have some live microbes in there. However, it's not exactly the right ones for healing and nourishing. So it's better to make your own if you can. I'm sure I have a video on YouTube for that. So making your own is going to give you a much higher quality product because it wasn't made somewhere and then shipped somewhere and then sitting on a shelf for you to get. And then eliminating dietary stressors. Caffeine is a big one. Caffeine can really create some stress, alcohol, sugar, and refined foods. And then focusing on your mineral rich foods, which you're all doing in the Rainbow Challenge now, which is great. So I hope that that helps you. That's I'm almost to the 20-minute mark. I don't see any questions. So for those of you who joined late, I am just talking about the thyroid and the adrenals. I will come on later today to talk about the Rainbow Challenge, just to check in with everyone, but I just wanted to do our regular Q&A today. If you have any questions, let me know. I don't see any here. I hope I didn't miss any. I just saw another beautiful picture pop up. So continue sharing your pictures. I love seeing them. I love hearing from you. So please comment and let me know how you're doing this week. Have a great day. I'll see you later.